So, good morning, Alex. How are you?
Good morning. It's a fantastic start to the week, I guess you'd say.
I know. We're for those of you that are watching, I've got Alex from Altrincham HQ, and we're talking first thing on a Monday morning. So, great start to the week. Hopefully, it's at the moment bright and dry. So, fingers crossed it stays that way. So, obviously, I'm Janine from Promoting Trafford, and I'm meeting up with and chatting to quite a lot of the people that are shortlisted in the Trafford Business and Community Awards this year. And Alex, you're in two categories.
I believe it is Digital Business of the Year and Business of the Year.
I know. How do you feel about that?
Really good, you know. I mean, it's always nice to be recognised in an awards situation because, it's just that nice feeling when you don't expect it. It comes in your email inbox, like, wow, didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
And this year, particularly, obviously, with the start of 2021, and I think all of us missed what I'd call the traditional awards season towards the end of 2020.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of left in a bit of a slump going down, thinking, where's my recognition this year? It was really lovely, and it's a really nice feeling. And it said some great businesses to be alongside, some competitive businesses to be alongside as well.
I know. It's really, really competitive. Each of those categories have got, well, they're all fantastic businesses or fantastic community groups or charities and individuals, and they all could and should win.
Yes,
they're all, everyone's a winner, as they say. Everyone's a winner. So for those, obviously most people will know Altrincham HQ, but just in case, do you want to officially introduce Altrincham HQ to people?
Fantastic. So Altrincham HQ is a social media company. We're based, obviously, as the name suggests, in Altrincham.
Yeah.
But we work across the whole of the UK. So we help businesses with social media training or social media management. Obviously, the circle starts from within Altrincham and goes out to the rest of the UK. Work with lots of local businesses, including, I think, about 10, 11, 12 of the nominees on the shortlist. But we also work with some large businesses. So we work with the likes of the BBC, NHS, Selfridges, Costa Coffee, United Utilities, Manchester City. So local and national.
Don't do the red and blue divide there, Alex.
No, I'll work with anyone. I'm a red, but yeah, the blues were fine.
So obviously in the last 12 months, so much has happened in business and the world generally. How has Altrincham HQ, how have you had to adapt and change things? Have you had to adapt and change anything?
Definitely. I don't think there's a sector that hasn't had to adapt.
Not really, no.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. I mean, it's coming up to a year now, which is mind-blowing to think that we've been a year in this whole pandemic.
I think it's gone quite quickly though. Looking back on it now, it doesn't seem 12 months since we were all talking about what could or couldn't happen.
No, there's been times when it's gone really fast. I think January this year went really, really fast. Of course, I've changed, I've adapted. I mean, the core concept of what we do hasn't changed. I still offer social media training and I still offer social media management. Obviously, the main thing that changed was the face-to-face aspect of that. I had a week where I was absolutely really scared, thought, will my business survive? And then naturally realised that fantastic things like Zoom happened. So I think it was only that first week when everyone was in shock that I didn't work. And I've been working constantly ever since, spending my life, even more time on the internet because of Zoom.
Yeah. I know there are some days when I've had lots of meetings and you think, my gosh, I'm like a singer. You know, my voice is gone and, you know, I can't sort of, you know, speak anymore.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I try and limit myself. I mean, I still only, like when I was doing face-to-face, I only did one training session a day, and I'll still, apart from the odd exception, I'll still generally only do one training session a day. It just takes it out of your 3.5 hours of talking. It's hard.
Yeah, exactly. And what about your networking events? Because obviously you're quite an avid networker in and around Altrincham and the general area. How have they changed?
Well, we run a couple of networking events. We run Alex and his Sisters, which is women's only networking, and I've just launched a new one called Jukebox Networking, which is for music fans and business owners. So I'm a big music fan, used to work in music, and we've gone to Zoom. I mean, it's a strange one. I don't think Zoom networking is quite as good as face-to-face, but you've got to change and adapt. You can't go silent for a year. And I think that visibility aspect of networking, even though it doesn't work as well it still works. It still keeps your name out there. It still keeps that visibility and presence. And the biggest benefit is you get to reach people that you might never have reached. So our next speaker next month is from down south somewhere. I can't actually remember where, but down south, we'd never had her speaking at an event just because we couldn't. We don't have expenses to pay speakers. So it's positives and negatives.
I think the opportunities have been huge if you've wanted to grasp them and run with them and try something new. You know, we were talking about Clubhouse before, weren't they? The opportunities of Clubhouse for businesses to reach people across the world that they never would have spoken with are massive, and obviously Zoom and online is the same, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you've got to think that you're not spending too much time doing all these things. I said Clubhouse, I'm spending limited time compared to all the other platforms, but even in that limited time, opportunities have still come. I've been on podcasts off the back of it, won clients off the back of it. I'm still spending minimal time.
Exactly. And what about the Altrincham community? Because obviously you're a huge presence on social media and in the Altrincham community. So well known and so respected and stuff. How do you think your feed in terms of people's things have changed over the last 12 months? What do you think's happened in Altrincham?
Interesting one. I think there's been a very much a mixture from seeing what other people are posting. I think there's been quite extremes on both sides, as you do in anything sizable that happens. So there has been extreme negativity and people turning on each other, but then there's been an extreme sense of love and community and positivity. And I think something like this, it was going to be divisive. It was going to attract people from both camps. I mean, what I've tried to do personally, I always like to control the conversation in a certain way and control the narrative. So I didn't want to go down a traditional media route on let's release the figures every day of whether it's gone up or down or whatever, because I just think that stokes the fire. I think I really wanted to be positive, as much as positive, and say, look, there's this business over here and they've done fantastic, they've pivoted, they've changed, they've done so on. So I've tried to keep it on the positive side as much as possible.
I think also that just gives, if people are sharing, like you say, how a business or how an individual or a charity or community has changed and done something good, it gives other people ideas, doesn't it? Go, oh yeah, I could potentially do that.
Definitely. I mean, you're the same as me. You're positive through and through, in that you don't share the negative stories and so on. And I think it's all about inspiring people. I'm inspired by loads of things: podcasts, books I read, things I see on social media. So if I'm inspired, why wouldn't I put that same inspiration out there for people?
And obviously during lockdown you celebrated 11 years, I think, didn't you? So the year before you did your 10 year, you did your 10 events. Obviously, how was your 11th year?
Bizarre. I mean, the 2 years were bizarre. I mean, the 10 year we obviously got to do lots of events, but actually the 10 year anniversary, the actual day, fell on the Tour of Britain day, so we didn't really celebrate.
Yes, I remember. So
it was all about the Tour of Britain. Then it was all about the pandemic. So hopefully 2021, in the 12th year of Altrincham HQ, we might actually get to have a party.
You never know. You never know. I think lots of us will be wanting lots of parties and get-togethers when we can safely.
Yes,
definitely. From there,
itching to get out.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we spoke about your music before as well. You mentioned the new networking event that you're doing, which I'm intrigued to find out more about. But you're so into music. How do you think musicians and venues are going to come back from this? Obviously, it's been so hard for theatres and bands and musicians and things, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's one thing I've been looking at, doom scrolling to find out when gigs are going to come back, because I am into my music. I used to work in music, but I'm a massive music fan, and I'm normally, in normal times, go to about 10 gigs a month.
Wow.
So that is from going.
How do you find time to do all that?
Oh, I don't know. That's my relaxation. I take the time off in evenings to do that. But my last gig was the 14th of March 2020. It was the Subways at Manchester Academy.
Sneaked in there, didn't you?
Yeah, just before lockdown. And I don't know how they're going to come back. I mean, they are going to come back, hopefully. I hope there's no major casualties from the particularly the smaller venues, what I call the circuit which bands establish themselves on. So we're talking night and day-esque size venues. I think there's going to be, again, that desire to go out and experience gigs, but I think there's going to be a hesitancy I know that I'm itching to get back, but also it's not like going to a pub or a restaurant where you've got your own individual space. A gig is about being sweaty. It's about being close to each other. It's about
and letting yourself go and being excited and moving and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about that communal experience. So I think looking at the time frame that Boris is giving, I believe it could be sort of the same time scale as holidays. So we're talking August or September potentially for live music. I will go back as soon as the opportunity is there. And as I said, hopefully there's not too many casualties. I think, but there will be long-term knock-on. I think bands will have split up in this period because they need to go and get jobs. And I know not famous musicians, but musicians that have been session musicians in acts. And they've had to go and work in supermarkets, be delivery drivers. And I think they're desperate to get back to music, whether they ever will. On the smaller scale, I don't know.
Yeah. Is there anything that they can do? Obviously you're a social media expert. How are they using social media at this moment in time?
At the beginning, they were doing lots. They were trying to, those things like obviously Tim Burgess's Twitter album listening sessions, and Jim is the Venue did lots of live sessions on Instagram Live. I think there's almost a resignation at the moment. They're announcing gigs as and when they can be announced and rescheduling gigs. I think once we get that time frame together, I think it's just ramping up the marketing and letting people know, and then letting people know the safety elements, like a lot of hospitality businesses had to do. I think I want to be assured that when I go to a gig, there's going to be something in place that means I don't want to have a test every gig, but there's some assurance.
Yeah, I think that's what quite a lot of the shops and shopping centres have had to do, isn't it? It's not just about promoting the businesses or the shops that are open. It's about saying they're open, but these are the measures that are in place to keep you safe while you're coming here.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what gigs need to do in venues.
Yeah, exactly. Back to Altrincham then.
Yeah.
And everyone knows, obviously, you love Altrincham.
Yeah.
What do you love most about it? What is it about Altrincham? Obviously, because you've moved around and lived in different places, but you're in Altrincham now. What do you love about it? What is so great about Altrincham?
I think you always have a love for your hometown. So I was born here. I've been here for 42 years. The only other place I lived is a year in Preston. And I think the great thing about Altrincham is it is a nice town for someone of my age. It's kind of like you've got Manchester on your doorstep, but there is enough going on in Altrincham that you don't really need to go to the city centre. I mean, the hospitality, the restaurants and the bars, and the fact we've got a ice rink and a cinema, and two cinemas and gyms.
More if you count the small independent cinema as well.
Yeah, there's everything you could ever want, and I think the fact that it's all quite central, everything's quite compact and close together. So I can walk from my front door and be in the centre of Altrincham within 7 minutes. And yeah, I think like any town, I mean, I'm speaking for Altrincham, but Sale will be the same and Urmston will be the same. The fantastic array of restaurants. You could eat out in any of these Trafford towns.
Exactly.
I think restaurant every single night for a month and not repeat yourself.
No, and I don't think people realise that about the bars and restaurants that we've got in all across Trafford. Like you say, we're talking about Altrincham because it's you, but Stretford's up and coming with the new, Longford Tap has been nominated as in the startup category, and lots of other bars coming across, Stretford, and the plans that Bruntwood and the council have got to do. Urmston's been flourishing over the last couple of years, and Sale is not far behind. So there's so much going on right the way through Trafford, but I think we've got the benefit of being on Manchester's doorstep should you want to go, but I think more people will stay more local going forward.
I think during the pandemic, the local towns, as we saw, were busier because people didn't want to go onto public transport and go to the city centre, which, to be fair, that then puts the city centres more at risk than your town centres. And
the places like the Trafford Centre and all those places are in, particularly inside ones.
So I think, there's lots to be proud of in Trafford. There's definitely a lot. In a sense, to support all these businesses when we can get back out.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's what I've enjoyed about seeing the social media across Trafford over the last 12 months is all the groups and people bigging up different businesses and different people coming together to help the community and stuff. That has been brilliant. Is there anything that you think Altrincham missing though? You say it's got an array of shops and a cinema and an ice rink and gyms and things. Is there anything you think is missing?
Interesting question. I was uninvolved in the conversation. I'm just going to try and subtly pick my piece of paper up from the left-hand side of it. And I heard of a phrase I've never heard before, and someone said it was competitive socializing. And what that means is it's a twist on what's gone before. So I sort of took it to mean things like paintballing and snooker and pool and all the things that you treat as an experience. I mean, when the Stamford Quarter, which is Altrincham shopping centre, asked, what would you like to see in Altrincham? I said, I would love to see a Riley's again, because I used to love that when I was younger. And then I found out Riley's had gone bust. But something like, something that you can go and play pool on, or something that you can just spend a bit of time that isn't drinking. Because I don't drink, so it's kind of, for me, I go to bars and I go to pubs, but have a soft drink or non-alcoholic option, but something that you can actually
have some fun with and engage with and interact with others in a different way.
Yeah, and I think things like that for adults, there's lots of opportunities for children or families. So I think everything's quite family-centred at Crown Trafford because we have so many families. So if you've got a 6-year-old kid, there's loads of things you can do. But if you're sort of an adult of 40 years old and you want to see your friends, apart from pubs and restaurants, we need a few more things. Yeah, and I think that's fair across the board. To be honest with you, I think like I say, from youngsters' point of view, 6-7 years and under, loads. If you've got that in between age group, like I've got a 12 and a 14-year-old, but they're not going to want to go to soft play areas, but they're too young. I don't want to be sat in a pub with them either. I don't think that's appropriate to be sat in a pub with them for hours on end and things. And they're not going to sit. They don't want to sit in a restaurant for hours. So it is that fun, engaging, different things that you can do with families, isn't it? Let's hope someone is taking note of this. Well, there's rumours of I was going through planning, is it like the surfing at Trafford Park with the wave? That's interesting. Lots of experience things. That's what we need. Yeah, I think people will be itching to go out and find something like that to do as well. Yeah, definitely. I think we've all had enough of walking around where we live. Yeah, I think all of us have walked on every single road, in every single street, on every single inch of the canal in Dunham for a year now. We need something indoors that we can actually do. Exactly. So in terms of obviously Altrincham HQ, you've done fantastically well over the last 11 years. What's next for you, do you think, going forward? Interesting question. I think more of the same, if I'm honest. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I don't want to change what's been going on. We've always been like 50% business, 50% community. And as long as that remains in the central core of what we offer. So I want to promote my business and do more social media training and do more social media management. But I think that the community side of what we do, we've just launched a chat show on the Facebook page, which is like we pre-record it. We have 3 different guests. It's called The Social Conversation. And we simply talk about what's happened in social media, what we've seen on social media over the past 7 days. So hopefully that will roll out. We're on episode 4. We're coming up to this week. Okay. I'm enjoying that. That's one of my favourite parts of the week. It's a way to engage with people, isn't it, and connect with people in a group environment, but in a small group environment rather than a big networking event. Yeah, so I think just more interesting content. A lot of what we've done over the years on the community side has been very much led by what's happening in the town, what new stuff has happened, what new business openings there are. So long may that continue. Long may there be some new businesses that open and some hopefully businesses that survive. I think there's going to be pandemic-based businesses that come out of this and hopefully become huge successes. Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed. So how can people get in touch with you if they do want to find out more about working with you in terms of training or social media, or contact you for any other reason? So our website is always the hub, altrincham.co.uk. We've got like 500 plus blogs on social media. We've got the contact details. We've got more information on our training. And of course, we're across social. So most of the social accounts are all at Altrincham HQ. Mm-hmm. Apart from really LinkedIn, which I go under my own name on LinkedIn, which is Alex McCann. So all over social on my website. Great, thank you very much. So thank you. Is there anything that you want to add
to, anything about Altrincham or you and your business that people might not know about you? An interesting fact, maybe?
Interesting fact. I'm trying to think. I've got many interesting facts. Let's see. What don't people know about me? Okay. Used to be I was Olympic torchbearer in 2012 for putting on our all ages gigs in Sale as well as Altrincham. That's probably one thing that people don't know about me. If you don't know me well, and you forgot your torch or your replica? Yeah, the torch is over at the parents across the other side of Altrincham. But no, really proud moment of that. And we've mentioned music, but my background, 20 years marketing. I used to be a journalist and I used to run an events company. So I think if people are watching this and they know the face, they've seen the social media post be shared, probably realise that when you come to me, you've got 20 years marketing experience. I'm not just like a fly-by-night social media person, which there are lots of. And I'm always open. I'm always open to a conversation. I always like to have a chat. I'll always reply to you on social media and just have that conversation. That's my biggest tip for anyone who's watching this and wants to improve their social media. 15 to 30 minutes a day chatting to people, you'll get results.
It's called social.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Definitely.
It's a two-way street. Treat it as an interaction, as a conversation, get to know people. That's how people got to know about me. Was mainly on Twitter, to be fair, to begin with, just chatting to people and getting to know people.
And I'll say as well, just in relation to Promote Trafford and Altrincham HQ, taking advantages of any opportunities that either of us put your way. If Janine puts out, it's such and such an awareness day coming up in a month's time, does anyone want to be featured? You get on your email and reply. And the same thing with myself as well, because we were saying before, so many businesses that don't take opportunities. And I think every opportunity, I say yes to most things. It's an opportunity.
I'm the same.
Should be the same.
I'll squeeze it in, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's another big tip. There's so many people like Janine and myself that are promoting what's going on. Janine across the whole of Trafford and me, predominantly Altrincham. Say yes. Say yes more.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's International Women's Day, obviously, beginning of March. So I'm opening up my Facebook group to people to come and take over for 10-15 minutes each and showcase their business for 10-15 minutes. Just talk about, basically sell their business live to 625 women. So
I'll put a frock on for that.
Altrincham HQ in drag.
Yes, I'll make it good.
That's a niche one, Alex. That's a niche one.
Alex and his sisters, or Alex his sister.
Yeah, you'll probably try and sneak in. I'll be looking out for your invitation. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
That's okay. And good luck with your 2 awards. We haven't made the decision yet before you start trying to bribe me or anything like that. But what I would say is, like you said before, every category is so tricky. Everyone deserves to win and everyone has done a fantastic job. So it's been brilliant to see people nominating and, getting behind the awards. But good luck for your 2 categories. And I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.